believe I fed you lies? Then by all means go. No, your chest is warm, she said, and I like being in your arms. I rolled her sleeves back onto her wrists and walked her back to the old oak where we talked for a while. Maybe this is my chance, she started. For what? I asked. You might have been right about what you said about the dispersal of your sister's energy. Maybe I'll gain some of it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, I said, massaging her upper back. But what if by channeling your energy, everything you loved about your sister, you could love about me? With a frown, I turned her around and faced me. Aubrey, I'm falling head over heels with you. Let me love you for being you. I'm sorry, she confessed. It's just that all my life I've felt like such a burden, an inconvenience. I don't know a good thing when I see it, not even when it's right in front of me. The only thing that reminds me I'm even alive is when I see blood when I cut. Look, you're not a burden to me. You're amazing and you're smart. I would have been kicking myself here at the house if I hadn't given Sophie a proper goodbye. You allowed me to do that. I told you, you're too hard on yourself. Tell you what, Channing, there was a drawing that I entered my dad into. The grand prize was a trip for two to see the Grand Canyon. He won and took my mom. See, you did something nice, I said, trying to ease the conversation into something a little less depressing. Oh yeah, trust me, they saw the Grand Canyon, the bottom of it at least. What? I asked, stunned. Oh yeah. They had just gotten on the plane and were on their way back home. There was some kind of mechanical problem with getting the landing gear to go back inside. Anyway, the pilot turned to circle around in hopes of getting it to work, but unfortunately a helicopter with tourists in it never saw them coming. They didn't have enough time to get out. This is not funny, but it's kind of hilarious in a way. They didn't have enough time to get out of the way and struck the right wing of the plane. Everyone involved died a horrible death. But you meant well, Aubrey. Isn't that what matters? She scoffed at the thought. I always mean well, but it always seems to end in chaos. This is kind of funny. We can laugh at it. Easy for you to say. You don't blame yourself for Sophie's death. I'm sorry. She scoffed at the thought. I always mean well, but it always seems to end in chaos. I spoke up. There was no way you could know that anything bad would come of that. The blame has to stop. Easy for you to say, she told me. You don't blame yourself for Sophie's death. My eyes burned with a boiling rage as I squeezed one of her scabbed wrists. I will blame myself for her death every day until I die, Aubrey. I promise you that. I could have pushed her out of the way and I didn't. I had plenty of time to react. I was a fool. Don't tell me I don't blame myself. I would be dead right now if you hadn't come along. Then why not cut through all this red tape and commit suicide together? You and me, tonight, Aubrey suggested. I think what shocked me the most was her complete willingness to do herself in. What hurt even more was the fact that I considered myself ready to die just this morning. Aubrey, let's sit down. Let's talk this over, I pleaded, hands open to take hers. What's to talk about? I've got a date with a pair of scissors to end what should have taken place ages ago, she said. As she stood to leave, I bowed my head and closed my eyes. The words slid past my lips effortlessly. But I need you in my life. She narrowed her eyes and gave me a harsh once-over. You sure you don't just want what's in my jeans? Listen to me, Aubrey. If it will make you feel better, then by all means go for it. Make that wrist gush like a geyser. Escape this miserable world just like I planned to do, not even 12 hours ago. But here's the kicker. You will only hurt more people by taking your own life. Aubrey was hearing me completely, but there was no doubt in my mind that she wasn't listening. Time was precious. If I allowed her to go home, it just might be the last time I got to see her alive. My final plea would need to register and really strike a chord with Aubrey, or I would have guilt for not just Sophie's death, but Aubrey's as well. Swallowing hard, I knew that careful word choosing was of the utmost importance. Aubrey, I can't tell you not to take your life. I can't watch you 24 hours a day. If you truly want to do it, you'll do it, and that's that. But with God as my witness, I truly am falling head over heels with the girl in front of me. She pursed her lips, and Aubrey's narrowed eyes slowly regained their composure. You made me realize how foolish I would have been had I killed myself today. Everything to make it happen was at my fingertips. A length of rope in the barn and a chair to kick away. You halted that. What bad could come from you saving my life? No answer escaped her lips, so I took the opportunity to continue on in hopes of changing her mind. Case in point, we need each other to survive. At least, I know I need you. Let's delay this suicide thing, okay? I offered my hand and she took it. For now, she agreed. This whole relationship with her, if I could call it that, had the potential of blowing up in my face. If my mom or dad ever found out that I was dating a suicidal cutter, They would expect it to be broken off as soon as possible. This was kind of a secret I would have to keep. That night I closed my bedroom door and knelt at my bedside. Please God, I know I'm not the best example of a Christian, far from it. I just hope and pray that you will keep an eye on your children, namely Aubrey. Not so much me. I say children because I want to be a part of her life. She's a tormented soul that someday I am open to marrying. Keep her safe. She's not well. As my head hit the pillow, my soul became grieved with thoughts that Aubrey was harming herself. Tears ran down the sides of my face as I imagined her slicing into her wrist as she drowned in a puddle of her own blood. I sat up and put my face into my hands as I tried to make sense of what I was getting myself into. I've got to show her that she's special. I've got to make her know that life can be good again. I want to be the light at the end of her tunnel. It's going to be difficult, but I'm up to the challenge. She's worth saving, worth loving. I leaned over and turned off the lamp at my bedside, eager to make a lot of progress with Aubrey. My desire to turn her life around was strong. The next day would be a lot more mellow. I don't know why, but I didn't argue with the lighter mood. Aubrey came up to the house and asked if I was available. It was good to see her again, alive and well. She was really curious to learn more about catching crayfish like Sophie and I had done countless times at the creek, not far from the house. Why tell you, when I could show you, I asked, with a smile spreading across my face. Aubrey took my hand as we walked out to the barn. Hard to believe that those cages were only hung here a week ago. Haven't done it since, I trailed off. Sophie died? Aubrey murmured. I nodded. Yeah. This was a moment of brief silence, but life wasn't going to stop just so I could reflect on her death. If I didn't get through to Aubrey and get her mind off death and dying, she was much more likely to commit suicide. Now, I have 4 traps here that we can bait and use to catch some dinner. She fondled the cage with her right hand. Never had them before. Any good? Delicious. There are so many ways you can prepare them too. I ran into the house and opened the refrigerator to gather bait for the traps and hurried back outside to meet up with Aubrey. That was quick. That stuff goes in the traps? Yeah, the crayfish go crazy for this, I told her as we walked back toward the barn. I got just enough to bait all 4 traps. And then we played the waiting game. Let's do it, Aubrey said, grabbing 3 of the traps and watching me open the container of bait. I showed her how to put the bait in the trap and watched her. You're a natural, I replied. Nah, she said, shaking her head as she finished up. Well, I think you are. I took her into my arms and spun her so that she was facing me. My right hand slipped through her hair as I massaged her ear, kissing her passionately. She closed her beautiful eyes as she fell into my embrace. Is that convincing enough? I asked. You're sure you're not just trying to get lucky? She teasingly shot back, her eyes opening. I shook my head. I already consider myself very lucky to have met you. Anything else would just be a bonus. Aubrey blushed. All the right words. You know every one. Promise you won't hurt me? My eyes burned like salt in an open wound with those words. If you want me to swear it, I will. I have no intention of hurting you, Aubrey. Look into my eyes and see that. Maybe I just wanted to hear it. Maybe I'm that kind of girl. Remind me with your lips again. I squeezed her tight this time as we embraced like a newly wedded couple, kissing as though we had no intention of letting each other go. You feel so good, Channing. So warm. So nice. You're everything I ever wanted, Aubrey, I replied, kneading her upper back like fresh dough. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, Channing. I know you can't hold me forever, but as long as you'll love me, I'll understand. We walked out of the barn with our equipment, and once we got out to the riverbank, I pulled a blue tarp from a small fishing boat. After I placed the traps in what I believed were the best spots for catching crayfish, I looked at Aubrey. Your chariot awaits, I said, kissing her hand as I helped her into the boat. A good push on the boat would send it into the water, and I stepped inside to enjoy a relaxing afternoon out on the water with the new love of my life. We drifted away from the traps and enjoyed the time we spent together in the boat. I can't wait to have you try one. Really good, I said, working the paddles to row us further out from the house. Why did I have to wait until now to meet you, Channing? Why not years ago? With a shrug, I tried to think of an answer that she would accept. I think people just want to find the part of the puzzle where they're supposed to go. This was one of those. I just wish my parents were around to see how happy you're making me, she said. Ditto, I confessed. Enough room over there for me? You wouldn't mind, would you? Aubrey asked, pointing next to me. Thought you'd never ask, I said, moving a few pop cans, some tools, and a small fishing rod. I slapped the floor between my legs, and she carefully walked over and settled against me. As I rode, she kissed me again, and as usual, it tasted like heaven. I just hope you're for real, Aubrey said, teasing my chin with a finger. You just need to have faith in me. I told her. Actions speak louder than words. I could promise you the world, but it wouldn't mean anything if I couldn't give it to you. She covered her mouth as she yawned. Glad to know I bore you when I talk, I joked, tussling her hair. Nah, you just put me at ease here in your arms. You know that. Maybe I just like hearing it, I replied, using her words from earlier. Copycat, she said, pinching my leg tenderly. How long until we get to eat? Do you want me to row us back to the shore? We can check. No hurry, but yeah, it would be cool to get a rough idea. Kinda getting hungry, she said. Then let's head back and have a look. If there's nothing, we could just lay here in the boat. She ran her hands through my hair yet again. I'm cool with that, she said. I rode back toward the house and checked the traps and was happy with the count. It wasn't much, but the 13 we caught would be more than enough lunch for the two of us. An uneven number, Aubrey pointed out. Not a very lucky number either. Means an extra one for you, I proudly told her, pulling the traps. And I wouldn't complain about luck. We found each other, didn't we? With one more hug and kiss. This time initiated by Aubrey. We pulled the tarp over the boat and headed back toward the barn with the traps. I dumped our find into a white bucket and hung the traps back on the wall. We took off our shoes and walked inside, and she watched as I prepared our meal. It took them a little while to get rinsed and ready, and by the time they were boiled and seasoned, Aubrey had the plates and silverware at the ready on the kitchen table. We should probably eat out in the barn, I offered, worried my mother and father would be judgmental if they saw her wrist. She shrugged and shook her head. This is okay. Did I do something wrong? No, of course not. I just thought it might be quieter is all. If it were any quiet in here, Channing, you could hear a pin drop. Why are you so nervous all of a sudden? As I opened my mouth to speak, my mom and dad walked into the room. Thought I heard you cooking. Smells good. Mud bugs? Mom asked, stealing one from my plate and breaking it open. Yeah, I said. Aren't you going to introduce us to your friend? Dad asked, pointing at me. Dad, Mom, this is Aubrey. Aubrey, Mom and Dad. Nice to meet you, they said in unison. It was now Dad's turn to steal one of my crayfish before heading out to the living room to watch some television. They seem nice, she whispered across the table. A dishonest smile swept my face. If only she knew that I was keeping this from her. I stared at my plate until my food was gone, and then walked her home. How much longer would I have to hide Aubrey's witch secret, and her habit of wrist cutting? I had never felt so alone, looking into Aubrey's eyes as she would leave me for the day. So beautiful, so amazing, so wonderful. The next day, Aubrey wanted to go out on the boat again. Though I explained that we were out of crayfish bait, at least for now, the offer to just go out and relax was still very much on the table. This, of course, pleased Aubrey more than I could understand, for when I pulled us out a decent distance from the house, she told me she had a confession to make. I prayed that it had nothing to do with ditching me for a current boyfriend, but I listened closely and did not jump to any conclusions. Channing, the whole witch thing. My eyes met her as the words left her. She meant to finish, but couldn't find the strength to do it. I took my hands off the oars and gently held hers. Talk to me, Aubrey. Tell me. You can tell me anything. She broke away, gazing out across the shimmering bed of water. It was a lie. I thought by saying I was a witch I could stop you from loving me. Stop you from feeling for me. Leaning back, I swallowed hard as I waited for the tears to come. Is that what you want, Aubrey? You dragged me out to the middle of the river to dump me? After sobbing and shaking her head, she turned back to face me and took my hands. I wanted to see that you wouldn't judge me for who I said I was. And you found out that I was a cutter, yet. My eyes remained focused on Aubrey as I waited for her to finish. You fell for me anyway, I don't get you. I put both of my hands on her shoulders. Listen to me. I don't know if I'm in a vulnerable position having just buried my sister, and I won't know for sure if what I'm feeling is real. But believe me, Aubrey, it feels real, and witch or not, you've already cast your spell on me. I'm yours. Just don't make up things to make me hate you. I don't want to hate you. You're worth loving. Let me love you. I can't promise anything, Channing. You have to realize that I will always blame myself for the death of my parents. You have no idea how much willpower it takes not to bury the razor blade in the biggest artery I can find. Then we'll get past it, I told her. You and me. We'll do it together. Two are better than one, right? Yeah, I guess so, she said. Do you realize that we pretty much blew the whole friends first thing right out of the water? I asked her. Actually, she replied, playfully sticking a finger in my chest, we're not officially anything just yet. Oh, please, I teased. The hugging, the kissing. Friends with benefits, Aubrey said. That's all. I'm shutting up now. She began to blush as she spoke, realizing she said far too much. I could get used to that. I wonder what having you as a girlfriend will get me. Wouldn't you like to know, she said. It exclaimed, laughing. I leaned in to kiss her again, and once we connected, there was no doubt in my mind that she was the one. The strange thing was, I had only just met her, but something was different about her. She didn't consider herself perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but in terms of her spirit and her beauty, she was flawless. That was wrong of me to do that, though, and I'm sorry. I'm not angry. Maybe a little disappointed, but I'm honestly not upset. I thought you really wanted nothing to do with me. These are supposed to be the best years of our lives, Jane, but there's such an emptiness in my heart, and I just don't know what to do. My grandma's not going to live forever, and I get the feeling that I'm going to end up alone. I looked at her. You'll only end up alone if you don't accept what's in front of you. The constant barrage of self-hate has to come to an end. The cutting, the lies, all of it. I'll try, Shane, she said, a smile forming on her face. That's all I ask, Aubrey, is that you try. I promise to try. You're worth that. If there was ever a moment that my soul felt satisfied, it was with those words. They didn't feel like empty syllables thrown together and spit out, but rather sincere, heartfelt, spoken thoughts. Aubrey, I'm seriously craving some crayfish again. How about you? We can head up to the store and get some bait. I don't have any money, she said. She's broke! That's okay. I've got it, I replied, as I slapped the pocket my wallet hid inside. Huh, I didn't know there were any places around here that sold anything like that. There aren't, I told her, walking her into the barn. It was kind of fun to watch her facial expression change when I took her over to a motorcycle, hidden in the shadows and covered with a sheet. No way, dude. Too cool for school. If you want, I'll wait until you come back. With a smirk, I replied, no need, handing her a pink helmet with black tribal markings, and her jaw dropped. What's this? It's the one I bought Sophie. Try it on. It was a perfect fit. Now it's your turn to fulfill a promise for me, she said, her left hand caressing my face with the kind of raw emotional power I've been craving for the whole of my life. Anything, I breathed. You got a promise to get me the hell out of here. I bit her bottom lip with my teeth and whispered, this town, this life, she quickly shot back. As I ran my fingers through her hair, she wrapped her arms around me and led me back to her grandmother's house to get a jacket for our ride. Once we were ready to go, Aubrey gripped my chin, demanding another kiss. Pulling on my leather jacket, I stared longingly into my passenger's eyes. I promised to get you away from this life in this town. Have faith in me, and I will do my best not to disappoint you. With a turn of the key and a few adjustments, my motorcycle was ready to take us to our destination. As I opened up the throttle, my heart was overjoyed when Aubrey wrapped her arms around me. Maybe she had an idea how fast I was falling. Either way, I knew it was my duty to let her know she was loved. She craved it, hungered for it. Once the motorcycle was parked and we made it inside the base shop, we were greeted with a warm hello and asked if we needed any help. I politely accepted and explained what it was that I needed. The clerk recognized me and asked if I was related to the new owner of the now defunct Wilson farm. Yeah, my parents bought it not long ago. From what I know, it sat for quite a while. Years, the clerk said solemnly. Decades, maybe. You must be the one I saw in my drive past there the other day. I never saw so many cars. You've got quite a driveway. Graduation party or something? Not exactly, I said softly. I'm guessing this is your sister. I've seen you two tooling around in that motorcycle. Even honked a few times. I turned to Aubrey, who removed her helmet and clutched it, not sure how she was supposed to answer. I lost my sister the other day. She was hit by a car. All the cars you saw were family and friends dropping off flowers and cards. The clerk was visibly horrified by what he had mistakenly said. Wow, I'm so sorry. Forget it, I told him. No, seriously, I had no idea. I shrugged and looked at Aubrey, who was holding the bait. I sighed loudly. Listen, what's done is done. There's no getting back my sister, so let's not dwell on it. I'd like to pay for these, please. The clerk wasn't having it. No, they're yours. I'll pay for them. I removed my wallet and put it on the table. I don't need your pity. I appreciate the offer, but I insist, please. You're going to make me feel awful if you walk out that door paying for this after what I've said. Please, it's the least I can do. Had I known, I would have bought her flowers. Okay, I guess, I told the clerk. Aubrey handed in the bag and the clerk paid money into the register from his own pocket. Awful nice of him, Aubrey said, handing me the bait. So much for you being terrible with words, I told her. This guy was the king. After securing the bait to the bike, I mounted up and she climbed up behind me, putting her arms around me. Our helmets still off, we kissed, knowing full well that people were not only walking by, but watching. I knew for a fact that Aubrey needed a confidence boost, and I was happy to be a big part of that. As my tongue caressed her lips, I told her that she could keep the pink helmet. You should keep it, she said, to remember your sister. She broke away from me, her eyes on mine, most likely to see my reaction. However, if that was what she was after, she would be sorely disappointed. Aubrey, I have more than enough great memories of Sophie. I want to start making fresh ones with you. This could be one of the first. She took my words to heart and nodded. It is a nice fit, Channing. I just feel awkward for taking something without offering anything in return. I took off my leather gloves and put them in my jacket pocket for the time being, and palmed her cheeks. You gave me you, the best damn gift you could possibly give me. It brought a smile to her face, which brought one to mine. Aubrey, I went on, I think you're amazing. I mean, I probably told you that already once or twice. If I haven't, accept my sincere apologies. I mean, maybe this is lust, but my gut feeling tells me that it isn't. Being with you just feels right, you know? I do. I'm just so scared that I'll do something that makes you not want to be with me anymore. Cradling her in my arms, I looked deep into her eyes and told her that I wanted to ask her a question. With a nod issuing her approval, I closed my eyes and opened my mouth. When God sent Jesus to die on the cross for the sins of mankind, what did Jesus say with his final breaths? Audrey began to sob like a newborn now, failing to answer. I answered for her. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And Aubrey, you may do things that I don't approve of, or even like, but one thing that will remain is my undying love and devotion to you. She cried in my arms for almost an hour. It felt as though she was being purged of all the darkness that plagued her soul, and maybe it went from her to me. Luckily, when something is bothering me, I don't hang on to it for very long. I quickly realized that Aubrey and I had a strange relationship, and that we were kind of a yin and a yang. We equaled each other out. When we got back to the house, I put the motorcycle back into the barn and closed the bay door. If awkward silence had gotten into the room, Aubrey was about to make it disappear. I wanted to die for so long, Channing. And the ironic part of meeting you at a funeral? She trailed off. Trying to go through the bait upon hearing such things made me bite halfway down on my bottom lip. You'd have hurt a lot of people killing yourself, Aubrey. Meeting you has made me realize that myself. I do my best not to pass judgment. I only know a few of the reasons you're willing to take yourself out of this world. I want to give you reasons to stay. She looked at me. I'm sorry you had to lose Sophie to meet me. Listen, I explained, putting down the bait to console her. It's unfortunate that my sister had to die. But like I said back at the bait shop, there's no getting her back. Let's concentrate on celebrating her life and remembering her that way. I'm not trying to change who you are as a person, but I'd like to show you things from my point of view. I know, she said. I'm sorry that I keep bringing it up. It's understandable. The temptation for suicide has hit us both. Tell you what, there's a local cover band playing in the theater not far from here tonight. Would you like to go? Channing, I will follow you to the ends of the earth. You just tell me when. Aubrey, I've got extra money since I didn't have to spend it at the bait shop. Do you want to go out tonight, or would you like to relax out on the water? I asked, taking her hands into mine. Do we have time for both? She asked. I kissed her on the forehead and held her tight. We can make time if we don't. Why are you so good to me? She asked, lightly squeezing my right hand. Everybody deserves a second chance, Aubrey. Whether you believe the blood of your parents is on your hands or not, you deserve a second chance. Sophie and your parents shouldn't have to die in vain. You take this life and you make it count. But Channing, I'm not good at anything. Why continue living a lie? Shaking my head, I put my hands on her shoulders and stared into her lonely eyes. Surely you're good at something. You're lying to yourself if you feel otherwise. Nothing that matters. I wish I was good at something. Listen to me, Aubrey. If that's my mission, my quest, then so be it. But mark my words, I'll prove you wrong. I truly hope you do, she said, forcing a smile. Aubrey went out toward the boat and began pulling out the tarp while I baited a single trap. Once everything was set, I walked into the house and grabbed my MP3 player. Little did Aubrey know that I handcrafted a playlist the night before that I wanted to share with her. Once I made it to the shore, she teased me about how long I was talking. We could have had the crayfish cleaned, cooked, and eaten by now. I grinned as I shook my head. Here's something, Aubrey. Really something. Better than being nothing, right? She shot back, hands on her hips. It's very true, yes, I replied. Do you need a hand with that? Aubrey offered, pointing at the trap. No, I've got it, thank you though. You can hop on the boat if you'd like though, and we'll hit the water. Okay, she replied, doing as I recommended. Once I was satisfied with the placement of the trap, I headed over to the boat and gave it a gentle shove into the water before climbing inside. I really like going out on the water with you. It's really nice, she confessed. I like going out under the water with you too, I told her, placing my MP3 player into her open hands. Here. What's this for? You want me to listen to something? After carefully scrolling through an alphabetized playlist, I found what I was looking for and hit the play button. Handing her the headphones, she was floored. This is beautiful. I love it. I narrowed my eyes at her. You don't, I said, struggling to take her seriously. No, I do, honestly. I think it's beautiful. Who's it by? Laughing, I threw my hands into the air and took the oars. You're not even going to tell me? That's cold, Channing. Super cold, she half-joked, socking me in one of my shoulders. How? I wrote that. Wrote it and played it with my guitar. The name of the song is Aubrey. Tears filled her eyes as she continued listening to the music play. There's not even any lyrics, but the music, she said. You really like it? I softly asked. I love it. You're truly talented. I'm really glad you like it. You inspired me to write it. Channing, I don't feel right accepting this music. I'm not creative like you. Aubrey, as far as I'm concerned, this gift is well overdue. Don't talk like that. She looked in my eyes like a deer in headlights and began sobbing once more. I took her into my arms and knew that this damaged woman would need all the love and care I was capable of giving. It was clearly going to take a lot of work, but she was worth it. We fell asleep in the boat, and when we woke, our lips met, and I ran my hands through her hair. Aubrey, you are honest to God gorgeous. Have I told you that? If I haven't, please accept my sincere apology. Honestly, Channing, it's going to take a lot of hearing things I don't believe before they break through this skull of mine. Well, then I'll tell you 100 times a day until you start believing it yourself. She put her head on my shoulder and took my hand. Are we going to be together forever? She asked. We're not going to live forever, Aubrey, but as long as I've got a breath in me, I'll be yours. A tear ran out of her eye, cascading down her cheek and burying itself between her lips. I just feel like I love you so much. I just want to be a good girlfriend. I've never had a boyfriend, and I'm sure I'll do something to make you hate me. Look at me, Aubrey. She lifted her head, and I put my arms around her as I placed my forehead against hers. You listen to me. We're a team. We do things together, and we don't fret about petty things. Life's too short to worry about things beyond our reach. You got me? Yeah, she said. You don't have to worry with me. If you mess up, I'll call you on it, but I won't be a jerk about it. We'll get through this life together. Just have faith in me. I've got faith in you. I just don't want to disappoint you, she confessed. I looked at her and stared at her hard. Every day that God fills your lungs with breath, I'm happy. We agreed to head back to the shore, and I checked the trap. 6, I laughed, holding it up to show her. Pretty pathetic haul, huh? It's better than nothing, Mr. Negative, she argued, a sexy smirk lighting up her face. Ah, so you have been paying attention. Almost got you on that one. Please, she playfully scoffed, fondling the trap as she eyed what would make for an incredibly light lunch between the two of us. You ready for lunch? Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to bother cooking 6 little mudbugs. Should we set them free? Aubrey's jaw dropped at the thought. Let them spend one more night with their families? I solemnly nodded. That would be nice, I think. Yeah, why don't we? She opened the trap and set it on the shore, where the water began flowing through it, pulling them away, one by one. That was really sweet of you, Channing, to give them another chance like that. She pursed her lips as she watched them get away, disappearing quickly back into the water. I believe with all of my heart and soul that in saving the lives of those crayfish, she finally realized what I had been trying so hard to explain in the days we spent together. It showed on her face when she looked up from the last scurrying survivor. Why don't we head toward the music hall and get our tickets? I asked. Yeah, that sounds good. Why don't we? I took her hand and we walked up the road. It was after 2 blocks that she mentioned that I was being awfully quiet. With a shrug, I said I hadn't really noticed. What you thinking about? She cried, still walking forward as she gripped my hand. It was a daunting task to maintain a straight face. I didn't want to lie, but I didn't want to tell Aubrey that I was thinking about my dead twin sister. The whole weight of her death was suddenly back on my shoulders, and I was becoming open to the concept of suicide again. Nothing much, I lied. You can't fool me, Channing, can I guess? I forced a smile and nodded. If it would make her happy, she could guess until she was blue in the face. You're thinking about... We kept walking, and Sophie's death plagued my head at least a dozen times while Aubrey continued to guess the things that she was convinced were on my mind. You look sad all of a sudden, she pointed out. It's not me, right? It's not because you have to buy my ticket, is it? A tear ran down my face as I shook my head. I was embarrassed to cry in front of her, but there was no stopping the pain that swelled deep within me. Sophie's death was beginning to eat at me like an unstoppable cancer, devouring everything in its path. The ticket is no problem. I'm just